This was the cold open. This is just going to be natural. Jason, I'm going to ask you a question and you're going to give me your best Kyle Shanahan on to Cincinnati. Hey, Kyle, how nervous are you about Steve Wilkes and the 49ers defense?
I'm not nervous, man. I've got a lot of faith in Steve Wilkes, and we're on to Cincinnati.
New Sprint Right Option podcast starts right now.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Right Option podcast. Oh my goodness. It's already that time of the week. We're done with work for the weekend. We're having a good time. It's a new Sprint Ride Option podcast. I am Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by the beautiful, beautiful Jason Aponte in a very good Niners hat that we don't get to see much often with the black instead of the red. I like it. That was a Jim Harbaugh. I feel like Jim Harbaugh made the black Niner hats cool. So Jason, did enough talk about your hat. How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is a week in which the 49ers have not a must-win, but what I like to call a much cooler if you did win game.
I like that.
That's the way that I can put it. It's not a must-win. I don't know if you can have a must-win in week 8, but it would be a much cooler if you did win in week 8.
Yeah, no, the question I was going to pose that I put on the tweet is this a must win or a can't lose? And I think there's a distinct difference between the two. And I would argue that this is a can't lose because you really can't, because if not to get I know we like to have fun at the start of podcasts, not to get too deep at the start of the podcast, but we're at a point where the schedule kind of matters and everything. Well, the schedule always matters, but everything is tightening up. And now games back kind of matter. And if you're going into if you want the number 1 seed in the NFC this year, and you're going into your bye week with 3 losses and Philadelphia is going in with 1, how comfortable are you feeling if you're trying for that 1 spot as a Niner fan?
Well, Andrew, because I'm the beacon of positivity. Never have I ever been negative. At least the 49ers have a game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
Right? That's how you can make up 1 game. And it's fair to assume that the Philadelphia Eagles will have a slip up. So, look, that's why I said this game is not a must win, but it's a much cooler if you did win game than it is a must win game.
I just looked at the Eagles schedule, and I actually think we talked about this in the past.
Yep.
I think we've had this conversation, but I just remembered it because I'm a Niners fan and no other team exists right now in my brain. At Washington versus Dallas, at Kansas City versus Buffalo versus San Francisco, at Dallas.
There's losses there.
Maybe I shouldn't have done the must-win, can't-lose thing with the Eagles before looking at the Eagles schedule and saying oh, that's a difficult schedule. You know what? I'm gonna rescind my whole take. I'm taking back my take after I've let it out on the internet.
Andrew, I want you to read this, and I want you to read this with the general knowledge of a movie that you have just watched, and I want you to understand this. Understand this.
You're gonna tell. I'm not very good at reading the words and remembering, but if you tell me the scene it's from,
I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it in the context that would help. Right?
Yes, I would need it.
Jordan Elliott Sports of NBC Sports in our chat. Obviously, this is a big moment for all of us. This is probably the biggest moment in Sprint Right Option podcast history.
It sounds right. I know. This sounds familiar now.
I know what you're thinking. Because of the concussion, I'm gonna miss the game, but I'm not.
Shaved.
Cleared. Shaved. Yes. Oh, he got it. Jordan,
yes.
Jordan, we did it. We did it.
We
Jordan.
did it. We got it. It's really nice to see I think. Oh man, I suck with Niners Twitter people. At Dubs Alex, he tweeted the tuna lion scene, and that scene lives in my head rent free. And then it's also the aim for the bushes,
And Andrew, the thing is this: the resemblance between you and the man reading that line is literally that's what we were looking for. Jordan gets it. For anyone who is uninformed, for the uninitiated,
I know what you're
thinking.
That
is other guys. Yeah, I know you're thinking because the beard. I'm really hairy, but I'm not.
I'm not. Shaved. Yes, I remember it now. There we go.
I'm
We
so
got it.
happy.
We got the
care
other
what
guy's
happens this
reference
week.
out of the way.
I'm so happy. I don't care what happens this week. Literally, that's all I ever wanted.
Niners could be 6-3. Who cares, man? Man, oh man, it's a good start. It's a Friday. We're feeling good. The Niners aren't on a 2-game losing streak or nothing like that. But yeah, no, they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday, and it's, I don't know, man. Like, you could maybe say, I don't like the word trap game, but you could say this is kind of a trap game for the Niners for a few reasons. You could say it's a trap game for the Bengals because I believe they go to, is it Buffalo next week? I believe they have a tough game next week. It is Buffalo. They play Buffalo next week. So this could be one for them, but this is such an interesting one because it feels like despite the numbers and only allowing 22 points, the Niners defense is really struggling, and they're going to face the Cincinnati offense that's really struggling to say the least.
But
off
the bye week, and they still have personnel that can give you fits.
Yes, off the bye week, and the bye week helps Joe Burrow. He's saying he is 100% healthy. I read at practice, I forget the name, Cincinnati Enquirer. I actually referenced it in my article for NinersNation.com. We write for NinersNation.com.
Do you want to take this one, Andrew?
Who did the Bengals beat? That's a great question. I have their schedule up right in front of me, and I can tell
Andrew, have I not made myself clear about like why we shouldn't talk about who people have beaten?
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Bengals,
when the 49ers lost to the Vikings with no Justin Jefferson, when they lost to the Browns with PJ Walker, I don't want to talk about who have the Bengals beat because we can go. Because the 49ers haven't beat anybody. The Dallas Cowboys are still not anybody.
Can I raise my hand real quick on this point?
Sure.
Do you know? Let's just start with who did the Bengals lose to in Week 1? Well, that's Cleveland. The Niners lost to Cleveland. But okay, who did the Bengals beat, Aaron? Who did the Bengals beat, Aaron? They beat the Rams. Now, who did the Niners beat the Rams?
Yep.
Huh. Interesting. They beat the Cardinals. Now, did the Niners beat the Cardinals?
Keep going.
Okay, they beat Seattle last week. We don't know that answer yet. To be fair. And there's your win. So if you're saying who did the Bengals beat, if the Niners go 6-0 in division, Aaron Rodriguez, not to call you out directly, you are not allowed to say the Niners went 6-0 in the division because who did they beat? And I don't like that. And Aaron, I don't mean to pick on you because I've seen a lot of people say it for a lot of teams. And I think I said it on Tuesday. I'm a big Dolphins guy. I think I'm the biggest Dolphins guy on Niners Twitter. And I see a lot of who have the Dolphins beat. And it's the same thing. And like, well, they're 2 losses or they're only two good teams they played. It was Buffalo and it was the Eagles. And then people say the same thing about or the Niners essentially. And it's like, well, or they say the Niners have beat people, but it's like, well,
they haven't beat anyone.
The Niners have played one bad team or one good team allegedly in Dallas and have 2 losses.
Allegedly.
Where Miami has played 2 good teams and have 2 losses. So what's the difference? So yeah, I don't like the whole who have they played because it's the Google or it's the Amazon AI overlords who create the schedule. The Niners don't control it. The cute little family that did it 25 years ago, the NFL put them out of a job because of Jeff Bezos. Bezos controls the schedule. I'm just getting confused. This is a Rogan podcast at this point. Obviously. I just don't like the who have they played because you do not control the schedule. But then also in this case, I really don't like it because it's all NFC West teams.
Quite literally what I've been saying the entire week about the way you look at other teams. Oh, the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Jets. The 49ers lost to Kirk Cousins without Justin Jefferson on primetime. I don't want to hear about who teams have beat, who teams haven't beat. I don't want to hear about any of that. That is not how you evaluate. No. Now, I want to go back to a point, Andrew. If I told you through 7 games, the 49ers would be 5-2, you would say that's amazing.
Yes.
Because they may have lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1 because week 1 was funky. And you know what? Maybe they would have lost to the Dallas Cowboys or the Cleveland Browns, and you would still feel good going. But because you rolled all 5 of those teams immediately, now 5-2 feels weirder than it did if I would have told you they would be 5-2. Yeah. That's the part. I don't want to hear about who have the Bengals beat. I don't want to hear about who have the Seahawks beat. I don't want to hear about any of that. Evaluate your own team through that same lens, and you'll get your answer.
Yep.
I'm done with that, Andrew, and I'm so glad that you have like seen the light towards that, because it's just so annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they lost to the Jets. Yeah, the Eagles dog walked Miami. All right, now what? And now who looks better? The Eagles didn't lose to Minnesota on Thursday Night Football. They beat them. Like, all of that stuff is annoying, and I dislike the whole idea of it, because we downplay other teams and say, hey, they're not good because they struggled with this team. Keep the same energy. PJ Walker, Kirk Cousins with no Justin Jefferson, all of those things, with a starting right guard missing, that they had to bring in Dalton Risner. What would someone, if you weren't a 49ers fan, what would someone who's not a 49ers fan say about the 49ers right now after those last two losses?
Oh, I mean, I don't listen too much outside, national stuff. I do listen to Part of My Take, and they like to overreact. And Big Cat threatened to put them on the fraud watch after the Vikings lost, but then he did not. Like, that's what I've heard, and that's kind of what the perception is. I'm assuming a little bit because of the two losses. Is that correct?
I mean,
I don't think it's fraud's too strong of a word. That's a word they throw around as a joke a little bit.
Let's contextualize the Cleveland game with no bad weather. Deshaun Watson plays. Deshaun Watson looks like Deshaun Watson from Houston. Yeah. Do you feel better about that loss than you do with it being PJ Walker, with the weather, with the missed field goal, all of that stuff, right? Like, does that make you feel better? And then with this one, oh, well, Kirk Cousins is garbage in prime time. Well, Justin Jefferson's not there. Oh, they have no running game. None of that matters. And it's just like, again, you look at the Bengals and you're like, who have they beaten? Who cares? Evaluate every team week to week. I don't care about any of that. Week to week. If we were doing week to week, 2 weeks ago, after the Niners were 5-0, there were 49er fans who asked the question, when will they ever lose if they don't?
Left hand up. Oh, that was me.
Now what? And now what? There's no gimmies left. You got the Bengals. You got a bye, which I don't know. The bye week might win. And then you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars right after. Yeah. Where are the gimme wins here? Where are the gimme wins, Andrew?
And this is also too, like, just the surface level conversation of looking at the schedule and saying who have the Niners played. If you even dig just a little bit deeper and you go, well, okay, the Niners scored how many points against the Browns, and then on the following week, how many points did Gardner Minshew score against Cleveland? Like you could even do deeper things like that if you want to make it sound even worse. So yeah, I think I am just tired of the who have they played. Cincinnati is Cincinnati. The Niners are the Niners at this point. All that matters is who they play on Sunday. That's really all that matters at this point.
Can I take one more shout at the Cowboys?
Yeah, I'll wait. Don't have
the 49ers, all 5 of their wins are still not against good teams.
Yeah, no, you've been saying that for 2 weeks, and I don't think it's necessarily.
Yeah, I said that right after the Cowboys game.
Yeah, I was like,
I literally can't wait until they play somebody.
Yeah. No, so let's get into the Cincinnati offense a little bit, Jason. The one thing I'm concerned about is how everything's kind of lining up all at once. Cincinnati obviously is having their offensive issues, and whether or not you want to believe it's Joe Burrow's calf or not, that's your prerogative, whatever it may be. But reports coming out of Cincinnati is he's healthy, he's 100%. The bye week helped. And this, to me, feels like the trap of all traps. And this is what I mean when I say it might be a trap game for the Niners, despite the bye week, is you hear all season how bad Joe Burrow has been for Cincinnati. So, of course, in the 2 weeks where we're concerned about the Niners defense, this is where Burrow's going to figure it out. And that is the one thought that has popped into my head. I know I'm going to have Rich in here. I've seen him in the chat, baby arm burrowing me, and don't be worried about that. But that has been my thought is this Cincinnati team has kind of been like San Francisco the past few years where they start slow. If we're looking at the AFC North right now, the standings, Cincinnati's in last place. If I could legally gamble in the state of California, I'm probably putting my money on the Bengals to win the AFC North. They're going to figure it out at some point. Baltimore.
Baltimore's like that. Baltimore is what the kids would like to say like that.
To spin zone you, we just talked about week to week, and a week and a half ago we were talking about, well, we got to see what Baltimore looks like by Christmas and then
Uh,
after the Lions game we're like, oh shit, that Christmas game
well,
looks real scary now, and
to
who
be
knows,
fair,
maybe we'll see, well, obviously.
to be fair, the Ravens, I've never had reservations about them because if
Yes.
Lamar Jackson's receivers
No.
caught the football, they would have blown out the Pittsburgh Steelers. It
No,
wouldn't even
absolutely.
been
Yeah.
close.
It's not
So,
as much what I think of Baltimore. It's just more Cincinnati's done it more recently. I think that's kind of where that bias is coming from as well. I think Baltimore is just as good as Cincinnati, if not better. But right now, just because of recent history, I think I'd have to value Cincinnati a little higher.
and Baltimore's defense is really rounding
Yes.
into shape right now. I
Yes,
mean,
that's true
getting
too.
Marlon Humphrey back, all of that stuff really matters. Like
And who's the
Baltimore,
name they're tied to right now? I feel like there's a big name. Is it
nobody.
Henry?
Whoever you are, I know that all NFL GMs are tapped into the Spin Right Option podcast right now.
Yes.
You know, do not send any of your players to the Baltimore Ravens
Yeah,
or
please
the
don't.
Philadelphia Eagles.
No.
Like, just stop
So
it
yeah,
already.
the Eagles one
Just-
stop. The Eagles one
Just
for
enough.
sure stop.
That, like stop improving teams. How much help does Jalen Hurts need? How much help does Lamar Jackson need? Damn it.
He's already
No, enough.
Jalen Hurts already has enough help from the tush push, man. Like he doesn't need any more help.
Nah, man, they tried to run that. Well, Josh Allen kind of ran it well, but like honestly, man, like I get why they can't stop it. When you can deadlift 600 and Jason Kelsey's really good, I get it.
It's just so funny to me, man, that in an NFL league that it's like everybody's trying to figure out how to push the ball downfield best they can today. We're trying to ban the like play that gets like that much. The like, oh, little play, we got to stop that one. And then we get into the whole thing of, well, what's the difference between tush push and a quarterback sneak? We don't need to dive into that now. Let's talk about Cincinnati's offense, Jason. Do you have that kind of same sentiment with this Baltimore offense, that this kind of feels like the place that they are going to figure it out?
Well, out of a bye, knowing that you were going to play the San Francisco 49ers for 2 weeks, that's concerning. Zach Taylor's offense, understanding defenses and understanding that it's like the same sort of offense obviously is an offshoot of Shanahan, that's concerning. You look at the personnel, that's concerning. You also don't want to underestimate a quarterback of Joe Burrow's caliber, and if he is feeling even a little bit better, then that's a problem. And then you couple that with the things that are going on with the 49ers right now, schematically, the pass rush, the secondary, like all of this stuff is a perfect storm right now for everyone to be worried. Now,
yes,
spoiler alert, I am picking the 49ers again
no way
to win this football game. But when you look at all of these circumstances coupled together, and when you think about where we believe the Cincinnati Bengals would be at the end of the year, like low key, I thought it was going to be Bengals, Niners, Joe Burrow was going to win MVP. None of that stuff is going to happen, it seems like right now after that. Like Joe Burrow's not going to win MVP, clearly, right? Like none of that stuff's going to happen. But in this 1 week, all that matters is this week. Yeah. Now, when you look at this team off of a bye, possibly healthy, T. Higgins is coming back. Joe Mixon's playing a little bit better football. The 49ers run defense hasn't looked good. The secondary is giving up plays. Their pass rush isn't there. Their DC is out here answering questions 4 days later about a zero blitz call at halftime. The vibes are not high right now. They're not high. So I understand why people would be nervous about this game, and rightfully so. Even when the preseason schedule came out and you looked through the schedule and you said, win, 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 loss, win, win, win. You looked at that Bengals game and you said, damn, that's a measuring stick, because the Bengals are in the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl damn near every year for the last 3 years at this point. That's the stuff that we're kind of looking at. And now that it's taken a different turn because we've seen how the Bengals have looked early on, it feels weirder because you're just like, well, that's not the same Bengals team. What if they're rounding into shape now? And I think that is the way we should be looking at this game, is more about where are they now as opposed to what did they do in week 1 and 2 when they or when they lost to the Tennessee Titans. I don't think any of that matters in this game particularly.
Yeah, and I think it's absolutely fair to look at the Bengals and just kind of who they've been the past few years and look at them and say, okay, they're 3-3 at their bye week. You could almost look at this as the start of a new season for them. 3-3 is essentially the same thing as 0-0, both a 500 record. So now from here, if you just finish plus, I don't know, +7, let's just say that +7 wins to losses. So what is that, 9-2 in these next 11? You're talking about quick math, 12-5 team, 6, whatever, man. Math is not my strong suit.
Oh
But
man,
you're talking about a team. I would love that trade, Jesse.
Jesse's
Second and
strong
third for
suit.
Sweat and Curtis Samuel.
Jesse's strong suit is really like giving up really good trades. Like if Curtis Samuel became a 49er, I have had a tough time with my favorite players not being on a team. The last time one of my favorite players was on the 49ers was Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
And Curtis Samuel has been one of the guys that I have been like, please put some respect on his name. He needs a quarterback. He needs a system. Getting Curtis Samuel on the 49ers would be like Jersey in the cart. Jersey in the cart. Like Jersey in the cart. Literally. Like, and then two Samuels, C Samuel and D Samuel. Like, you guys are like overlooking the things that matter. What you guys are looking for are, things that work, X's and O's, but you're missing out on the vibes. C Samuel, D Samuel, good God, man. Good luck to everybody else.
I think if you get C Samuel and D Samuel, then you have to get CD Lamb, and then you have CD and CD.
Okay. Now we've jumped the shark.
Too deep. Okay,
Well,
what do you think my role is on this podcast, Jason?
C Samuel and D Samuel.
Yeah, there you go. So like if Cincinnati, like if you tell me that they're 3-3 right now, they finished +7 in their next 11 games, and they finished the season 12-5, I wouldn't be shocked. So Jason, you told me you had a little things you wanted to tell me about that Cincinnati offense. So I want to hear it. Tell me it.
Well, not only the Cincinnati offense, but their defense. Okay. And again, this is cumulative, right? This isn't indicative of the team that's there, but these are these season-long stats as we go along. Okay. Regardless of what we think about their offense, their defense has largely been the same across the board. And this is what I want to point out. Rushing the football against their defense to the left end has given them a 6.72 average per game. That is 29th in the league. Now, obviously, we don't know if Trent Williams is going to play, but that's clearly a place where you can run the football at them.
Yes.
Okay. Left tackle, so left end is around the left tackle. Left tackle is behind the left tackle, 4.18, which is 17th in the league. Behind the left guard, 5.23 per rush, 25th in the league. Up the middle, 4.37 average gain, 23rd in the league. Right guard, 4.75, 21st in the league. Right tackle, 5.59, 29th in the league. Right end, 5.57, 19th in the league. If the 49ers cannot get the run game going this week, I don't know if we should possibly hit the panic button. But let's go a little bit deeper. Their offense, in terms of the way that they've been operating, and this is going to come down to things that they need to clean up from Minnesota. Tackling, okay? Mm-hmm. The Bengals run 91 plays passing-wise to the short left, which is ranked 3rd in the league, for 4.86, which is 25th in the league, okay? Mm-hmm. 91 plays, that's 3rd in the league. Short right, 87 plays, that's 10th in the league, 5.08, 23rd in the league, right? In terms of that. Tackling. Get up and tackle these guys. They're not attacking downfield for two reasons. Mm-hmm. One, their offensive line isn't giving a lot of time. Joe Burrow isn't exactly healthy. Does that change? I don't know. But the 49ers have things that they need to clean up, whether it's Cincinnati or whoever it is that's going to be in this game. They need to get back to tackling. The bigger point is the defense. You have to be able to run the football in this game. And if you cannot, then we have to start asking questions about what is going on, even if Trent Williams doesn't play in this game, realistically. Even if Trent Williams is not playing in this game, and there's a slight chance that he could.
Yeah.
You have to be able to get back on track running the football here.
Yes.
And I think that when you do, it can alleviate a lot of the things and the little stuff that you've been seeing from the offense that have led to mistakes in passing, right? Even if Deebo Samuel's not playing in this game. There's a path for the 49ers to do the things that they're good at in this game and win the game without going overboard and beyond. And that's the part that I think I took away from all this.
So I have about 3 branch off points from all that information you just gave me. So let's see if we can keep it as clean as we can. You mentioned the tackling, and not necessarily about the tackling, Jason Aponte, a more advanced form of tackling. So advanced we call it sacking. The Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow has the 10th lowest sack percentage in the league. The 49ers have only faced one other quarterback in the top 10 of sack percentage. Can you name the one quarterback they played who has a lower sack percentage than Joe Burrow?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. How many times did they sack Kirk Cousins on Monday
Zero.
night? Zero.
Zero.
Again, I've said it a million times. I'll say it a million more times. I'm more pressures than sacks. I get it. I know people like to talk about that. You got to sack him at some point. You cannot, if you sack him, you are not letting us find out whether or not Joe Burrow is fixed or not. So, Jason, quick question: do you think they can get to Burrow?
The worst part about this is every team knows to gear up for the 49ers defensive line. None of them are getting up to getting to the game and running a play. And they're like, oh, wait a minute. The 49ers defensive line is really good. So there's an obvious game plan to get the ball out fast and very fast. Now, this is where the Steve Wilks thing comes into play more for me. Is people are doing everything that they can to get the ball out faster. And yet you're playing off coverage and soft zones for large amounts of them. And quarterbacks who process well, like Kirk Cousins, can see it where it's coming pre-snap and get the ball out.
Yep.
Joe Burrow is one of those guys as well, too. So what do you do now? Do you just say, hey, just rush the 4. We're good. Go for it. We'll figure it out. Do you say, hey, let's send 7 and put 4 on the back end, and then the 4 on the back end have to account for Mixon, Irv Smith, Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase?
Like, a really good one.
It's just like there has to be something that you have to tweak a little bit to help everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And
like
that's kind of what Nick Bosa was talking about at the end of that Vikings game, was more about, hey, we used to be a 4-rush, team. DeMeco would never run any of those soft zones and have guys like running wide open, like on easy. Like, again, no one's coming to a game and saying, wait a minute, who's that 97 guy? Oh, he's really good. Who's Hargrave? I've never heard of him. Who's that Armstead guy? I'd never heard of him. None of that stuff is when you start the game, like where they're going to be like, where we're surprised.
Yeah.
It's everyone is going to do that. You have to make the adjustments now. Now, do you have the personnel to run man? No, maybe not. But you have to trust the guys that you paid so much money up front for.
Yes.
To help you with that. And in that regard, I feel that there has been an underwhelming aspect to a pass rush that 49er fans have set their watch to and thought was the one certainty all year. And I was one of them. So that's the hard part. It's like, get the sacks. I get it. But you've got to do stuff on the back end now to help, because you assumed the 4 were going to help you on the back end. Yeah. It's just, come on. Something's got to change.
And you mentioned all those weapons for Cincinnati, and I just have a hard time seeing the Niners secondary kind of as constructed as is, because the way I see the Niners secondary, and it's such an easy fix to me, is essentially you're going to use 3 cornerbacks more often than not, 2 outside and then 1 slot. And no matter how you configure the Niners secondary, how you like, there's a weak spot, right? If you put Lenore on the outside with Ward, Isaiah Oliver's not having the best year, right? So let's be 1,000% honest.
But he's not horrible.
He's not horrible, but he's not at a level we were kind of hoping. Is that a better way to say it?
All right. So, Andrew, the way that I'm rationalizing Isaiah Oliver right now is this. Generally, slot receivers are shifty and faster guys, right? And also, he hasn't been as bad, like in terms of like giving things up.
Is the word inconsistent better? Would you like
that? Actually, is absolutely fair. 100%.
Okay, then I'll use the word
fair.
inconsistent. And then also, too, I think it's in a little bit of an advantage, because the other option is if you kick Lenore into the inside.
No, don't even say it. So
that's what I'm saying. And so I just feel like if you can get one corner, whether it's a solidified slot guy, and really solidify that position, or somebody on the outside and make that work, I think it's good. I don't know how to
Gojira Von
pronounce it.
Jinx. Gojira. Yeah, that's so
Gojira Von
Gojira
Jinx.
is
I like
Godzilla.
it.
Yes.
I like it. Okay. Why do people keep talking about Armstead as if he pass rusher? He has never been a pass rusher. He got cleanup sacks in a salary year, and otherwise is 2-3 sack a year player.
He got Drake Jackson 3 sacks, and he hasn't had a sack since.
Yeah. It's one of the, like, that's the thing. Like, Gojira. There we go. Got it.
Gojira.
This has been a thing we've talked about on this podcast.
So
for a couple
Gojira.
years
So
now.
like when you watch those old school Godzilla, Gojira. That's Godzilla. Yeah.
If this has been something we talked about, is Eric Armstead, at least to Niner fans, was at least one of the most disrespected, because a lot of what he did doesn't pop up in the box score. Right, a lot of it, the run stopping, the kind of filling gaps, helping Drake Jackson get 3 sacks earlier in the season type stuff, it doesn't show up in the box score. So I like to make sure people keep that in mind. His role is just kind of to eat space.
But also, as big, staunch Eric Armstead defenders on this podcast, yes. Not with PFF, with kind of just the impact that you see on the film, everybody, all of them, Armstead, Hargrave, Bosa, all of them, they've been underwhelming.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yes.
They've been underwhelming. They've been all of them. And I can admit that wholeheartedly. Now, does that have to do with scheme? Does it have to do with what they're doing on the back end? Does it have to do with the way that Wilkes is deploying them? I don't know. I don't have the answer. But you don't need to be an X's and O's guys to know when you watch the 49ers and say, why the hell are they not getting to the quarterback? That has nothing to do with knowing concepts.
Yeah.
Get to the damn quarterback. This is something we thought we would immediately think is the best part. Like,
it's just so simple. It sounds so just tackle the quarterback. How hard is it?
Just sack. If I was a defensive lineman, I would immediately sack the quarterback. That's exactly what I would do on every single play.
Football is pretty simple. Just you could be the defensive coordinator, sack every play. I'll be the offensive coordinator, touchdown every play. Bada bing, bada boom. And 17-0, we win a ring. Nice and easy.
And whoever's the head coach, I would simply win every game. And if I was a general manager, I would only draft players that are good. Only the players that would work. I would never miss on any draft picks.
No, never. Not once. Second branching off point, Jason. This will be where we pivot to the Niners offense versus the Cincinnati defense. By the way, I think this is pretty. Hi, Sin. Love you. How you doing? I think it's pretty impressive that we're 32 minutes into this podcast. Have not talked about the potential of Sam Darnold and starting quarterback. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't think
that's impressive.
I think that's very impressive.
That's a PlayStation trophy within itself.
I just realized we haven't said a single word. Brock Purdy's questionable. He has a concussion. That probably should have been the top of the show, to be 1,000% honest. But we'll talk about that because I'm so deep into Jason's little spacing and the Bengals run offense, our defense, and I don't want to talk about it. But we'll get to the quarterback talk here in a minute. Wow. Great pod. We've been doing this for 3 years. We know how to really prioritize the top headlines here.
Well, no. We try to give you the stuff that isn't clickbaity, and we also want to bury the lead.
Exactly. Barry, you make them wait 40 minutes for the quarterback talk. Exactly. Yep. Got to get through all the exciting stuff. Christian McCaffrey versus that run offense or the run defense of Cincinnati. He's not very good. We've talked about it. It's not even necessarily a Christian McCaffrey conversation. Does Kyle Shanahan not trust anybody in that running back room anymore? Because Elijah Mitchell has 3 carries his last 2 weeks for a whopping -4 yards. And Elijah Mitchell has 5 carries, imagine Trey Lance in this offense.
I just love the amount of people that were just like, this is why you don't trade Trey
Lance.
This
is why you don't trade. Well,
there's a possibility that.
Yeah, but the thing, here's the thing though, Jason, if they hadn't have traded Trey Lance, Sam Darnold starting on Sunday because Sam Darnold is the backup coordinator. That's why Trey Lance got traded. Anyways.
All right, hold on. Andrew, real quick. Start Brandon Allen for the revenge game vibes.
That's what I was going to say.
Like literally, that is Kyle Shanahan. I want to talk to you directly real quick, and I want to pass it to Andrew. Why are you not coaching off vibes? Yeah. Why isn't Brandon Allen giving you everything that the Bengals
Yeah.
playbook has.
That's
right?
why
Because
the
that's what Trey
Niners
was supposed to
signed
do.
him specifically for this Week 7 game.
For this game.
Yes,
For this
yes.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you start Brandon Allen for the revenge game vibes.
Yes, come on, dude. We should know. Running backs not named Christian McCaffrey the last 3 weeks last 2 games have 8 carries. Jason, why does Kyle Shanahan not trust any running back not named Christian McCaffrey?
Elijah Mitchell is just not good anymore.
Yeah.
Jordan Mason is very valuable on special teams.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey draws so much attention from defenses that Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason don't, that it opens up things for Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
And George Kittle.
Yeah.
That's all I have. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all I really got.
And that's the thing. It's like people getting angry and it is why I continually say that the Niners need Christian McCaffrey to play as much as they can, even if he's hurt, compared to a Deebo Samuel. I think you can live with Deebo Samuel being hurt. Or I don't want to say it like that. I apologize. That's not the way I wanted that to come off. I think you could live with Deebo Samuel not playing. That's the better word, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. It is because of how much space McCaffrey demands and how much space it creates for everybody else in this offense. So that's why I have a hard time taking him off the field. And he's also good. And we're talking about this run game issue, but Monday night was the first time the Niners haven't had more than 100 rushing yards in a game this season. It's been 1 game. And I guess it's technically for McCaffrey, it's been 3. Part of it's because of the Cleveland thing. And I had that stat in my article today that this is the first time that McCaffrey's gone 3 consecutive games without going over 4 yards of a carry since weeks 4 through 8 of his rookie season. So this is a little bit of something that we haven't seen from Christian McCaffrey in his rookie year, especially not as a Niner. But as Jason said, this Cincinnati defense is the spot for him to fix it. And spoiler, I think Christian McCaffrey gets majority of the carries against Sunday.
Right. And if not now, then when? And against who?
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect spot for the 49ers to. And you know what's the worst part about this, Andrew? The 49ers are probably going to go out there and they're going to run the football at will and do what they want to do. And everyone's going to use that as a way to talk crazy about Brock Purdy. If he plays.
Yes.
And if Sam Darnold plays, run the football 300 fucking times.
Yes.
Do not throw any passes. I am going to take Avery to the bathroom. You got it.
I got you. Hello, it's me again, but I'm joking. No, and that's the thing, Jason, is we haven't discussed it, and I guess I'll bring it up at this point is Purdy playing? And it sounds like he is. I'm going to lean towards he's playing. It sounded like I don't know if I saw he specifically cleared protocol today or if he was going to clear protocol today. If Purdy plays, I mean, it's obviously best case scenario, and it's nothing against Sam Darnold. I just don't want to open that door. I don't want to find out what Sam Darnold looks like in this offense, because I more or less know what Brock Purdy looks like and how well it works. And it's this fatigue, because again, when's the last time the Niners have had a quarterback start all 17, 16 games, whatever year you go back to? And that was 2019. And it's just this, I don't want to see a second quarterback. It's nothing against Darnold. So hopefully Purdy plays on Sunday. Hopefully he does. All signs are pointing, and I think that helps the run game a little bit, because I think you could stack the box a little more against Sam Darnold. The one matchup that I want to point out, and I'm going to ask Jason when he comes back about this, is that Trent Williams. I think that Trent Williams is maybe the most important injury to watch here. I think Trent Williams, I'm getting to a point where I think he is the issues when the offense isn't working. If he's out, that's why it's not working as it should. I just feel like even though Jalen Moore didn't give up a pressure last week, like there's just something about knowing Trent Williams is there. And something that I do want to point out regarding Jalen Moore last week versus him this week is he didn't really face Danielle Hunter much last week. Danielle Hunter only took 7 snaps on that side of the offensive line. All of his damage was against Colton McKivitz. Trey Hendrickson is going to play 100% of his snaps on the left side of the Niners offense. He's literally played 100% of his 270 defensive line snaps on the left side of the offense. So whether it's Trent Williams or Jalen Moore, I don't know, but against a guy like Trey Hendrickson, he's stylistically, I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure Jason can tell you more stylistically between Hendrickson and Hunter, but statistically, they're very similar to a point where they're pretty much exactly the same. Through 7 weeks, it's Hendrickson and Hunter are tied for 16th among pass rushers this season with 27 pressures. They're both tied with 17th with 17 quarterback hurries. And then Hunter has 9 sacks. Hendrickson's at 7.5, or excuse me, 7. He's 4th in the league. So it's not necessarily their high pressure guys, but it's almost like the opposite of the 49ers pass rush. It's high sack numbers, not quite the high pressure. So while yes, Jalen Moore looked good last week, he didn't have a lot of those snaps against Danielle Hunter. He's not going to be able to hide against Trey Hendrickson and a pass rusher that has been pretty good the past few years, just like Danielle Hunter is. I think it's a guy who doesn't get talked as much as he should. The fact that Danielle Hunter, I don't think we talk enough about Danielle Hunter as a top end edge rusher, and I don't think we've given him that respect until we talked about him on Monday previewing the game. And I think Hendrickson's in that kind of area. You don't think of him because you have the Myles Garretts, the Micah Parsons, the Nick Bosas, and the TJ Watts. And then you remember that in that second tier, there is some really good guys. And I think Trey Hendrickson fits that profile. So Jason, I don't know if you heard what I got. I hope you heard all of it. You're still muted. Got you on that. But I said statistically, Hendrickson and Danielle Hunter are the same.
Yeah.
Stylistically, because the main point I wanted to get out is if Jalen Moore plays, he looked good against Minnesota, but Hunter didn't face him too often. Only 7 snaps on that side of the line. Hendrickson's literally taken 100% of his snaps on the left side of the line, of the offensive line. How concerned are you if Moore faces Hendrickson on Sunday, since he necessarily didn't have that battle against Hunter on Monday night?
I mean, I love Trent. I would be concerned regardless. That's how high I think of Trey Hendrickson. And again, okay. I know this sounds like a broken record, and I know this sounds like something that is probably false optimism or just, rose-colored glasses or, whatever it is. But Kyle knows that.
Yeah.
Kyle knows that. And it's not like you can just say, hey, listen, Jalen, sink or swim. Go take on one of the better underrated edge rushers in the league. I don't think that that's what's going to happen. This is why, and all those numbers that I bared out about running the football that way, that's how you negate their pass rusher. Yeah. Run at them. Run at them. Run right at them. Hit them, chip them, everything. Go right at them. Don't go away from them, even though you can with this defense. Run at them. And I think that's kind of going to be the discussion and the way that they game plan this game. McCaffrey's, for all the talk about, rest them for the obliques, 98% of the snaps, 2 touchdowns. Like literally like the engine of this offense. Get back to it. Get back to it.
And you mentioned too, run right at the best pass rusher. For what it's worth, PFF grades, take it as you may. Fits my narrative this time. Jason Aponte is 57.6 pass rush, or run defense grade for Hendrickson, a 55.7 tackle grade for Hendrickson. So that essentially establishes your point, Jason. I went a little bit into the Purdy Darnold thing. I'm at a point where I think Purdy's going to start on Sunday. I just don't want to open the Pandora's box and find out what Sam Darnold looks like in a Niners uniform. Respectfully, nothing against Darnold. I'm tired of backup quarterbacks on this team, like just in general. What are your thoughts on the quarterbacks before we get into kind of the prediction portion of the show?
Well, and Scott says almost no chance the league clears Brock. The league has their guys. If they clear him, it's up to it's the 49ers guys and then the independent neurologists.
Yeah.
And there is precedent to this because Kenny Pickett got injured and concussed on a Sunday, played on a Monday. There is precedent to that.
And despite Schefter saying no players have cleared concussion protocol in the same week, that was incorrect. It's been 20? He said 25% in the past few years. This is not as unprecedented as it sounded like on, dare I say, Wednesday or Tuesday at the very end of our podcast.
For sure. When has the league ever done this team a favor? Like I said, Kenny Pickett on a Sunday night football game ready like right away, like or a Monday night football game ready for Sunday. That's actually happened.
And
We get screwed
and
more than anyone schedule. We get screwed more than anyone.
oh, AI,
We're not
and
screwed.
the whole Bezos. You heard me, the Jeff Bezos schedule thing. You heard me. Yeah, whatever. So yeah, there it is. Bengals Niners, all wrapped up into one. Whom's revenge game is it? Jason Aponte. One player. Do you got it?
Oh,
One name.
God, I don't. Go. Tell me.
Two games for the 49ers in 21, 2 games for the Bengals this year. Tight end Tanner Hudson is your lone Hoops revenge
No
game.
way. Tanner
There you
Hudson goes for 2 tugs in this game to get revenge on the 49ers. Didn't see that coming. Place your bets right now, people.
Speaking of placing your bets, it's everybody's favorite part of the show when Andrew pulls up his Underdog app and hasn't looked at the props yet, but he's going to give you 3. He's very good at it. Don't ever take his picks. Don't ever take his picks. But if you're so inclined to, if you go to Underdog, use the promo code Aponte. Jason Aponte personally, not personally, will match your first deposit up to $500. He will not personally use it, but if you use the code Aponte, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $500. You know what numbers I'm looking at? I'm going to go higher. Christian McCaffrey, 18.5 rushing attempts. Kyle Shanahan, he doesn't care about your tweets, guys. He's going to give Christian McCaffrey all of the carries, whether he has an injured oblique or not, or whether or not he has 2 legs. We'll find out. Maybe we'll see. We'll see one day. I like that Brandon Ayuk higher 1.5 time for a rush receiving touchdown. I'm going to pick Brandon Ayuk to score a touchdown more often than I'm not. And you know what? I'm going to be positive, Jason. I think this is the week.
I don't think
Trent Taylor's not on Cincinnati anymore. He is in Buffalo. I think he's in Cleveland, actually.
Yes.
I could be wrong.
He's in Cleveland. He's in Cleveland.
Which means we missed that Hoops revenge game.
We missed that Hoops revenge game.
The last pick I got, Jason, I think the offense turns it around. He's in Chicago, not Cleveland.
Chicago.
It's a spicy. You get 1.25 multiplier. Niners scoring 3 touchdowns at least, which means Jake Moody 2.5 extra points. Higher gets you a 1.25 modifier.
I love that. And that implies that Andrew's not being negative. He thinks the 49ers are going to score 3 touchdowns in this game.
Yep.
Okay. I am going to start looking at the Bengals. I've got Joe Burrow higher than half an interception. I think the 49ers get 1 interception in this game.
I like that.
So I've literally got him for that. Tyler Boyd. No, I don't want to touch that one. I'm literally looking at it right now. I don't want to touch that one at all. 29.5 receiving yards for Christian McCaffrey, higher.
Okay.
Absolutely higher. I'm going to take that as well, too. And all of these things are based on the idea that Brock Purdy's playing. So I want you to know that these are going to change if Sam Darnold is the person that's going to be
Purdy's not even available to take, for the record.
No, he's not at all. And that's the point, right? Okay.
Yep. Just letting the people know.
No, all right. Yeah, you're good. Nick Bosa, 1 sack on his old SU guy. So give me over the half a sack right there as well, too. Fred Warner, 5 solo tackles. I don't understand why this is the baseline. Higher. Every week, higher. Every week, higher. Right? And then one more. I've got to choose it. Good God, I'm on the spot right now. Not Diamond Lenore. I don't like it. Give me Brandon Ayuk over 64.5 receiving yards. So I've as of right now, and use promo code Aponte, APONTE, to double your first deposit up to $500 on Underdog Fantasy. I've got Fred Warner over 5 sacks, 5 tackles. I'm sorry. Joe Burrow over half an interception. Christian McCaffrey over 29.5 receiving yards. Nick Bosa gets a sack in this game, and Brandon Ayuk has over 64.5 receiving yards. Book it, make some money, and in California you can absolutely gamble. So, but we have a super chat here right quick. Smack Jones 919. I am shook, not sure about Kyle's leadership anymore. You can start this one if you want, Andrew.
I think you should be sure of Kyle Shanahan's leadership more. There you go. That's my response. That's what I got.
I'm not as worried. I'm definitely not as worried.
We've witnessed
worse. We've witnessed worse.
Exactly, Smack Jones. I just want to point out, and I don't blame you for making this point, because I came onto this show on Tuesday and I said I don't think the Niners are Super Bowl contenders right now. There are overreactions, but contextually, got to keep it there. 3-4 last year, 2-5 at this point. They're 5-2. Let's just keep that in hindsight. Jason, can I give you one more actually pick for a not Niner game?
Yo,
Adam Thielen over 6 receptions. He's got 9,
easy.
14, 8, 13, or excuse me, 7, 11, 7, 11, 11 the last 5 games.
Pretty easy.
All of those numbers are higher than 6. I want to make sure people get the shout of Adam Thielen.
And I guess while we're doing that, my picks, I have a $20 entry, and it's 5 picks and can win you $400.
Okay.
I've got Jalen Warren higher over 25.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
The real running back in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara higher than 36.5 receiving yards. I don't understand why that's the number, and that should never be anywhere near the number. That feels like stealing. I've got Jake Elliott higher than 1.5 field goals made at Washington. That is a game that's going to be very much.
Did I maybe point you? Did I point you on to the some of those over under field goals are grossly low?
Yeah, they are.
Like some of those
Jake Elliott's gonna hit too.
Dude, did I lead you on to those kickers high or low? Because there's some times where it's 4.5 points, and it's dude, that's 2 field goals. What are we talking about?
Right.
Some of the kicker ones, man, that's where the money can be at.
And Philly, Washington, defensive game, divisional game. Yeah, that's absolutely where Jake Elliott's going to make his money. Travis Etienne, 21.5 receiving yards is absolutely insane. Give me the higher. This man is absolutely cooking, and this is the number that they're giving you. And then who can stop the best receiver in the history of football, Puka Nacua? Higher 6 receptions. No questions asked. Higher 6 receptions. Bet it. And 5 picks at $20 will get you $400 on Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Aponte.
Love it. All right, Jason Aponte, we have reached it. The point of the show. We make predictions. I am going to go. You ready for this? 26-23. 49ers win in overtime. Jake Moody misses a 47-yard field goal.
This is the Robbie Gould game.
And Brock Purdy drives the Niners down the field and hits Brandon Ayuk in the corner of the end zone to win it.
Nice.
That's just pretty much the exact 2021 game.
Nice. I've got a 24-21 49ers win in this one. This is going to be a dogfight. This is going to be the most tense game for all 49ers fans because it's not a must win. It's a much cooler if you did win game.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the way that I'm going to say that. It's not a must win, but it'd be a lot cooler if you won game. And that's what it feels like right now, especially given you get the bye week. Everybody's going to be healthy, but then Jacksonville's no stroll in the park. You still got Seattle 2 times. You've got Philadelphia. You've got Baltimore. None of that stuff.
Not the Cardinals again.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray's going to play in that game. Yeah. You don't feel good about any of those games right now, so you've got to win this game to go into the bye week with some sort of semblance of calm, even though there will not be. Even if the 49ers win, there will be still a section of 49ers Twitter, YouTube that'll say, yeah, I'm not as calm. No. Wins are wins. Go into the bye 6-2. I think that's best case scenario, and I think that's kind of where a lot of 49er fans would have had the team at through 8 games.
I would take a 2-0 win on Sunday, and I'd be happy because a win's
I'd take a win. A win is a win.
As they say in Letterkenny, they don't ask how, they ask how many. Jason Aponte, I cannot stress to you, and this is Andrew Jason friends talking here. This is a conversation I have with Jason off camera. I cannot stress to you how excited I am for Monday's show because the second we are done, I'm going to forget the San Francisco 49ers exist.
Oh, this bye week?
For 3 days. I guess technically we got to wait till Tuesday to see what the trade deadline is. November 1st, the day after the trade deadline, I am forgetting the Niners exist for a whole 3 days. It's going to be beautiful. I have stayed up till 1 a.m. twice this week writing articles. I've written about 5,000 words worth of articles. I had the winners and losers Monday night, stayed up till 1 a.m. doing that. I had my trick or treat candy trade deadline.
Banger.
Did you like my costume idea for Kyle Shanahan and
I
Daniel
loved it.
Brunskill?
Daniel Brunskill.
Go read that if you want. And then I had my Numbers to Know article come out. So about 5,000 words of content for me just this week. I am so excited for this bye week to forget this football team exists for a little bit.
No one's more excited than I am because the San Francisco 49ers and the NFL decided to collaborate and do the bye week on Jason Aponte's birthday.
Look at that. I had that a couple years ago.
That Sunday, my birthday, I will be able to sit and watch football and lay in my bed and do nothing.
The best.
It's the absolute best. Look.
Was it 21?
Having your first child, getting your first job, getting your license, getting your first kiss. Those are things that are up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I quantify anything other than having Averly, who's sitting next to me right now, better than being able to watch football on a Sunday with no consequence and not care about what happens with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, it was the 2022 season. My birthday weekend fell on the 49ers bye week. And it was so nice to just sit there and just not think about the 49ers. And with how busy it's been, and it might be a busy week next week. I mean, fingers crossed it's a busy week, because if it's not a busy Halloween for us, Jason, there's going to be some problems, because that means the 49ers didn't make a trade.
Well, speaking of that, on Niners Nation, we held a poll on Wednesday. Would 49er fans be disappointed if the team did not make a move at the trade deadline? 84% of San Francisco 49er fans would be absolutely let down if this team did not make a move at the trade deadline. So that is Niners Nation, Jason Aponte, Andrew Pasquini keeping their finger on the pulse.
Oh, dude, listen, I know there's a lot of intersection between San Francisco Giants and Niner fans, and people were very mad that Farhan didn't make a move despite the Giants kind of fading at the trade deadline. Oh, actually, sorry, they traded for AJ Pollock. My bad, Jason. Can't forget AJ Pollock.
That's not fading. That's actually just going for it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly going for all in. The Niners are in a spot where if they do not make a trade on Sunday, if they do not make a trade on Tuesday, I love it. JKBG, we love you for your birthay, Jason. I'm gonna get Rich Madrid to hop out of a giant cake, a la Mr. Burns in Smithers' Dream.
You don't get it, do you?
I've seen that. That's a dot GIF on the internet.
Yes,
I've seen that. But to me, I will make a guarantee, Jason Aponte. I will make a guarantee, not a Chris Russo guarantee, one that I will hold up.
Did he retire?
No, he didn't. Come on, man. Mel Kiper didn't retire either. Jimmy Clausen's he going to pan out. If the 49ers,
Andrew.
The 49ers do not make a trade, and I'm saying zero trades, I'll count a lower level. If they get Ezra Cleveland, I won't say this. If they get a Daniel Brunskill, I won't say. Although Brunskill would be a great pickup. If the 49ers come out of the deadline with zero trades, I will come on this podcast, and the first thing I will say is congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning the number 1 seed in the NFC. Wow. I will do that because the Niners need something at some point. Let's just be honest. They need something.
Wow. And to JKBG's point, he's going to hop out and say, watch the damn tape, Mr. Aponte.
I love it. Well, we will see you guys on Monday, ideally talking about a 49ers win against the Cincinnati Bengals. If not, bye week. We just forget about it. We have a good week.
We're gonna be vibing, and we'll talk about Andrew, his Bad Bunny tickets and buying the Bad Bunny W2K24 edition.
Oof, I have the video game. I just don't have the DLC yet. Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners. They're gonna win this week. I got this.
Good night, Averly. Have a good night's sleep.
Night, Averly. Please go to sleep. Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.